So students, we are going to study chapter number 28, social functions of state government. Functioning of the state government, which means the authority and the responsibility which is given by the public with the sector of the or the path of by voting. Clear? So functioning of the state government means a particular state, suppose you can say by taking the example of Gujarat, the government of Gujarat, what are the functions, means what are the primary responsibilities or the functions which should be carried out by the government. So they are resource allocation, land reforms, irrigation, education, water and health. Resource allocation, first point. So in resource allocation, there is the planning commission, and the planning commission is held every 5 years. Every 5 years, a plan has been made by the government, and the state planning commission is also been done. So with the help of this, they make a particular target by in how way we are using the resource, the allocation of the resource which be done for the public at large. Second is land reforms. After the Indian independence, there was a land reforms where we have abolished the zamindari system. We have discussed that zamindari system means the rich people or the rich persons who purchase the land and they give at the rent to the poor farmers, and by this the poor farmers were exploited. So in land reforms, these were the topic which has been covered up. Now we are going further for irrigation. As we know that India is an agrarian economy, though India is an agrarian economy before after the independence, when Britishers gone away, after independence, India, though it was an agrarian economy, the growth of the production of the crop was 0.67%, while the population growth was 1%. So India was supposed to import all the crops from outside countries, and it was recorded that 1.25 crore ton was also imported. So in this chapter we will be going to study further about irrigation, education, water and health facilities. These are the functions of the particular state should be carried out. Okay students, so in irrigation refers to the allocation of the water through a complex network of streams, river, canals, well, tanks, even rainwater harvesting structures for crop production. Here in this irrigation, it is refers that from where the resources of the water are there, and from that we will collect it and use for the crop production. This is the fundamental importance in India, as agriculture output is depend on the irrigation system. The agriculture activity or the primary activity is based on irrigation system. Since India is primarily called as an agrarian economy means the country or that country's economy is only for the largely depend upon the agriculture sector. The state government prioritized the agricultural production of cultivable land. Alongside land reforms, irrigation system therefore needed to be optimized, means to boost it up. Most of the irrigation projects in India rely on availability of groundwater, and this in turn depend upon electricity that is required to run turbines and pumps. Here electricity is required for using that pumps and turbines. Moreover, 2/3 of the land depends on the seasonal monsoon for restoring the groundwater balance. We have to maintain the balance of the groundwater level with the help of seasonal or the monsoon. Hence, the total amount of irrigation land is in India is considerably low. According to the World Bank report, just 35% of the cultivable land in country was sufficiently irrigated by 2010. How many percentage? 35%. So this was a part of irrigation. Now we are going further to education. It is a most important topic. Education is the most important responsibility of the state government. It is the most important responsibility. From the Council of Ministers appointed by CM, Education Minister oversees the education system. State ensures the following responsibilities: providing free and compulsory education to the age of 6 to 11, but you can say from 6 to 14 in talking about in Gujarat. Controlling the activities of the state universities and scholarship grants for higher education. What do you mean by scholarship? Means the supportation in money to the children who are economically backward. So the government provides the scholarship. They support through the money. Providing adult and social education as well as vocational and technical training. Structural and curriculum syllabi of the school and university under its authority. So, curriculum and syllabus are on the under its authority of the education ministers and the chief ministers. Conducting entrance examination for the universities as well as public service examinations. Entrance examinations are conducted. Appointing the committees that work to improve education system. These are the main points or the responsibility for the education purpose of state government. Now moving further, we are going to study water. It was previously declared by the Constitution of India that distribution and the maintenance of the water resource and the sanitation would be a state responsibility. However, in 1993, Constitution and the state legislation were amended to transfer the responsibility to the local and municipal authorities. First, it was under the state responsibility, but after 1993, the responsibility has been given to local and municipal authorities, while still maintaining provision over their measures. The local government are often inefficient and fail to properly maintain the infrastructure responsible for distributing the water. This results in unavailability of resource, water shortage in many regions. The amount of the state control exercised in distribution of water supply in urban and rural areas for sanitation and industrial use varies greatly from one state to another. There are many much of the riots and strikes and quarrels between the state. Talking about the example of the Narmada in Gujarat, there are many states, interstate fights and quarrels are going on. The depleting groundwater table areas where ground is unusual usually see more government control than well-drained areas. Moreover, state concern itself more larger projects such as river water distribution and seawater desalination. When natural resources such as river water, sea water shared among different states, the various state departments are often required to coordinate with the central government and resolve the water dispute. We have earlier discussed that there is a water dispute between the different states. One state will say that I want this water, another state will say we want this water because of the development of the industrial, agriculture, etc. On such instance, the dispute over sharing of the water at the Kaveri river between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, these both having the quarrel or the dispute. Now, health. The state government is responsible for the provision of health to all citizens. State must be ensured that nutrition level are maintained. State must be ensured that the nutrition level must be maintained to the citizen of India and the particular state. It also must seek to improve public health and provide free and mandatory vaccinations for life-threatening disease like corona. Clear? This is the vaccination should be provided by free of cost to reduce the infant mortality rate. State work toward the fighting the following concern with its people: child malnutrition and infant mortality rate, disease or epidemics which are with their lack of safe drinking water or the proper sanitization, women's health issues. These are the point which have been included. Okay. So now we can see here the points given as a glossary, and you are supposed to write it in fair book.